They say the dead don't move. That's the first lie I learned working at Hallowmere County Morgue. My name was Aaron Deeks. I worked night shifts, just me, a flickering desk lamp, and 23 stainless steel drawers. That was fine by me. The dead don't complain. They don't talk. They don't stare. But then came drawer number 6. It was cold that night, colder than usual. The furnace kept kicking off every hour, and the hallway lights kept flickering. I'd just logged in ADOE from a highway accident. Real mess, missing face. We called her Jane Doe number 6. I slid her into drawer #6 because that's where we had space. And that's when it started. The drawer, it didn't close all the way, like something resisted from inside. Not much, just an inch or two. I pressed harder. It gave. Nothing unusual, right? Until about an hour later. I was in the break room, sipping old coffee, when I heard it. That long, slow sound. I thought maybe it was the compressor or my nerves. I walked over. Drawer number 6 was open again. 3 inches this time. Pushed it closed. Harder now. Locked it. I even muttered, "Stay shut, all right?" A stupid thing to say. I wish I hadn't said anything at all. At 2:13 a.m., the hallway motion sensor went off. Hat hallway has no windows, no vents, no airflow, no reason, just the cold. And that drawer, I checked the monitor. Nothing on screen, just grainy static. But then, the static flickered. A face, blurred, pale, no eyes, flashed for a split second. I went cold. Back in the drawer room, everything was still. But the tag for Jane Doe number 6 had fallen to the floor. No big deal, I told myself. Tags slip all the time. I bent to pick it up. That's when I noticed something else. A handprint on the inside of the frosted drawer window. Fresh, human-sized fingers spread, as if someone had pushed from within. I opened drawer number 6. She was still there, cold, face shattered. No way she could move, and yet her hand was now over her chest. I hadn't posed her like that. I slammed the drawer shut, locked it, backed away. I was done for the night. Screw the rest of the logs. But before I could leave, the lights died. Every single bulb. Then came the whisper. It wasn't in the air. It was in my head. Like a memory I didn't own. "Aaron, it's cold. So cold." I turned to run, but the hallway was gone. Literally gone. Just black. Endless black beyond the doorframe. And in that black stood a woman, faceless, pale, and smiling. I screamed, locked myself in the break room, dialed 911, But the line was just static. I passed out on the floor. They found me the next morning, babbling about drawer number 6. Locked, no body inside. No body inside. No Jane Doe on file. I checked later. Drawer number 6 was welded shut since 2003. They say death is peaceful. That's a lie. My first memory was the cold, the kind that wraps around your bones like wet ropes. My second memory was darkness, thick, suffocating. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I was pressed into something, metal. My back was flat against it. My arms pinned to my sides. The air was stale, coppery. Panic didn't come right away. It crept like a leak. I tried to scream, but my voice bounced back. No echo, only the thud of my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. I kicked. My foot hit something. It gave a little. A latch. I shoved again, harder. Clang. Light spilled into my tomb. I was in a morgue drawer, naked, except for a plastic toe tag swinging from my foot. I sat up. My hands trembled. The tag read, tag nitrogen monoxide, 42, unidentified male. A steel autopsy table, flickering fluorescent lights. Mold crept across the walls like black veins. I wrapped myself in a nearby sheet and stumbled into the room, legs shaking. That's when I noticed drawer number 43 beside mine was slightly open, maybe 5 inches. I didn't open it, not yet. Instead, I checked the exit. The door was locked from the outside. No keypad, no handle, just the cold, humming silence. Then came the voice, a whisper. My number, 42. It was faint, like breath across glass. I turned back. Drawer number 43 was now open wider. Against my better judgment, I approached. The number plate was rusted, barely readable. I opened it fully, empty. Except for folded paper. I opened it with shaking fingers. 3 words stared back in black ink. You were warned. My stomach dropped. I didn't know who I was, but those words hit something buried inside me. Then, total darkness. Every light in the room flickered and died at once. The air shifted. The smell of rot flooded the room. Wet, thick, suffocating. I froze. Then came the dragging, something scraping across the floor. Slow, deliberate. I didn't turn around. I backed away into the corner, trembling. That's when I felt the hand on my shoulder. Long fingers. Ice cold. I spun. No one there. Lights returned, flickering, sickly blue. And now, every drawer was open, empty, except one. Drawer number 6 Its door was bent outward, as if something had forced it open from within. I wasn't alone, and I wasn't supposed to be awake. I heard footsteps in the hallway, heavy, slow. A silhouette passed behind the frosted window. Someone or something in a coat or robes. The whisper came again, louder now, and this time it spoke not a number, but my name, Elias. That name hit me like lightning. I didn't remember it, but I knew it. And with it came the memories. A woman screaming, brakes screeching, shattered glass, blood on my hands, my fault. I had done something I paid for, or tried to escape. But the dead don't forget. In the reflection of a wall mirror, I caught a glimpse of myself, or almost myself. The reflection was gaunt, gray, its eyes too deep, its smile wide, twitching. It blinked. I didn't. Suddenly, body bags began twitching, jerking. Some fell to the floor, as if the dead inside were waking up or remembering their pain. I backed into the autopsy table, slipped, fell hard. On the floor, I saw it crawl out of drawer number 6. It looked like me. Dead eyes, burned flesh, blood-caked mouth. It stood, limping. It stared straight at me. It opened its mouth and spoke in my voice. "You don't get to leave, Elias. You were warned." I scrambled to my feet, screaming, ran to the morgue door, slammed it with my fists. Locked. No exit, no light. Behind me, the thing dragged something across the tiles. A soft scourge. It held something in its hand. A tag. My tag. 42. It pinned it to my chest. Then came the blackness, cold and endless. When I opened my eyes again, I was back in the drawer. Same cold metal under my spine. Same plastic tag on my foot. My screams were silent, my throat raw. I knew now. This was no mistake, no accident. This place wanted me here, needed me here. And now I hear footsteps again. The drawers beside mine begin to rattle. One creaks open. It's drawer number 43. Again, I can't move, can't scream, but I hear whispering from within. "You were warned." A face stares from the crack in the drawer. Gaunt, hollow-eyed, smiling. I'm not alone. I was never alone. And if you're hearing this, maybe you've already got a tag of your own. Check your foot. I always told myself I'd quit before it got to me. You spend enough time around dead bodies, and the silence starts to feel alive. But tonight is my last shift at Ashwood County Morgue, and I've decided to record this log just for myself. I've worked the night shift here for 18 years. I've seen car crashes, overdoses, drownings, suicides. I've seen the worst of what people do to each other and to themselves. But none of it ever bothered me. Not until now. There's a strange quiet here tonight. Not the usual stillness. This feels deliberate, like the building's holding its breath. I logged in 3 arrivals earlier. 2 DOAs from the highway and 1 unclaimed from a retirement home. All in their drawers, tagged and sealed. I did the paperwork. I double-checked the cooling units. Everything's normal. Still, I've got that feeling crawling up my spine. Like something's waiting. Like the morgue knows it's my last night. I set up the tape recorder an hour ago just to keep my hands busy. It's old school, like everything else in this place. The kind with a little spinning reel and a big red record button. The kind that clicks louder than it should. I've already spoken into it a few times. Updates, observations. I even cracked a joke. But I think I'm talking just to remind myself I'm still here, still breathing. At 1:12 a.m., I heard a thump in the main hallway. Not loud, just enough to make me stop writing. I opened the office door and looked out into the corridor. Nothing, just the hum of the overhead lights and the faint buzz of the cooler units. I told myself it was probably the building settling. The walls here creak like old bones. But when I turned around, the tape recorder had stopped. No error, no damage. Just ... stopped. I pressed play. My voice came through, scratchy but clear. And then, underneath my words, I heard something else. A second voice, quiet, breathy. It said my name, not once, but 3 times. Michael. I didn't say anything like that during the recording. I rewound it twice, listened again. Same result, same whisper. The third time, it almost sounded amused. I checked the drawers, one by one, all locked, all sealed. Except for drawer 12. The latch was undone. The door open, half an inch. Inside was the unclaimed man from the retirement home. Pale, sunken, nothing unusual. At least, at first. I reached for the drawer to shut it, but I noticed something. His mouth was open now. I had closed it earlier. I'm sure of it. His lips were parted, like he was caught mid-sentence. There was a strange, red stain around his gums. Not blood. Something darker. I closed the drawer gently, like I was afraid to wake him. Back in the office, I decided to leave the recorder running. I didn't listen to it anymore. I couldn't. The air felt thicker now. I turned up the old desk fan. It didn't help. The lights above the hallway flickered once, then steadied. I made coffee. Bad idea. My hands were shaking too much to hold the cup. I sat down, but the chair creaked like it was groaning under someone else's weight. At 2:37 a.m., the service elevator Activated. It only moves when the external platform is used, usually by the coroner during transfers. No one's scheduled tonight. No one's even supposed to have access. I went down the corridor to check. The elevator door was open, the lift empty, but the floor was wet, like something had been dragged across it. No blood, just a long, dark smear. And something small near the elevator gate. A single toe tag torn in half. No number, no name. I went back to the drawers again. Drawer 12 was now fully open, the body gone. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't scream. I should have. But something in me wanted to pretend it wasn't real. I walked the entire morgue, empty. Then I saw the camera, the one above the autopsy table. It was on, blinking red. It hasn't worked in years. Budget cuts, power issues. But now, it was recording. I leaned in to look at the monitor. It showed the room, quiet and still. And then, for 2 frames, it showed something else. Me, standing over the autopsy table, whispering into the recorder. Except, I wasn't there. I was at the monitor. And what I was saying, I could hear it faintly on the monitor speakers. It was T, my voice. Not really. Too deep, too slow. It spoke in a rhythm I didn't understand. Not language. Chanting, like it was remembering something ancient. I ran to the tape recorder. The reel had stopped again. I hit rewind. It screamed. Not static, a literal scream, mechanical and hollow. Like the machine was bleeding. I yanked the power cable out. Silence returned, but I could feel the morgue breathing again. The temperature dropped. My breath fogged. And behind me, one by one, I heard the drawers begin to slide open. Not violently, calmly, like they were being opened by someone patient. I turned. The hallway was empty, but I could hear the tags fluttering as they swung from toe to toe. I couldn't see them move, but I could feel it. Something behind the drawers, between the walls, watching, waiting. I called out, stupidly, "Who's there?" The lights dimmed. A low buzz filled the air, like a swarm of insects trapped behind the walls. Then a whisper from nowhere and everywhere. Last shift. Tried the security lock. Dead. Keypad unresponsive. Tried calling out on the radio. Just static. I even screamed. My own voice sounded alien in the stillness. Then I felt a vibration, soft, under my feet. Something massive shifting under the foundation. The morgue itself felt like it was breathing deeper, feeding on my fear. In desperation, I went to the cold chamber controls, set the temps to max freeze. I thought, maybe, just maybe, whatever was here couldn't stand the cold. But the system refused to respond. Instead, all drawer lights turned green. All at once, That's never happened. The green light means in use. All drawers, even the empty ones. My hand reached for the recorder again, even though I didn't want to know what I'd hear. I hit play. A voice came through. It wasn't mine. It was my father's. He died in this morgue 15 years ago. He whispered, "Clock out, Michael. You're done." I dropped the recorder, backed into the locker room, and locked the door. That's where I am now, still recording, still listening to the breathing behind the walls. The last thing I saw before I closed the door. Drawer 12, open, empty, and a single tag on the floor. My name on it.